Good morning, Judge Mbhele.
Good morning, Chief Justice.
How are you, ma'am?
I'm fine. How are you, Chief Justice?
I'm very well, thank you. I apologize for keeping you waiting. We should be finalizing deliberations by now. Sorry for the late start.
I understand.
Yes. For how long have you been a judge?
I'm on my 6th year, Chief Justice. I got appointed on the 1st of January, 2016.
And what exposure to leadership responsibilities have you had over time, ever since you were born? And how do you believe they will help you for the position you have applied for?
If I have to start from the time I was at high school, I was at some stage a member of the Student Representative Council at the time. And at university level, I participated in the leadership of the Student Christian Movement. I was also part of the Law Students Council at the University of the North, particularly attached to the street law program that was aimed at capacitating community members around Mankweng on basic understanding of what the law is about. Soon after I started my articles, my then principal, the now Kubushi J, her and other women in the surroundings of Putadichaba had started what they called a rape crisis center, which culminated into what became Tusanang Human Rights Center, a branch of the then National Institute of Public Interest Law and Research. When I started my articles, I volunteered my services to this organization. And when the CEO or the acting or the coordinator of that institution was requested to run the extended public works program for the Thabo-Mofokeng district municipality, I was asked by the management board of that institution to take over as the coordinator. And I led that institution. I took a break from the legal career and I worked in that institution. It was a human rights. We were teaching communities around Kwakwa on human rights. We were interacting with the traditional leaders, exposing them to what is expected of them in terms of the constitution of the country as it was developing at the time.
I can see that you are settled now. Let me interrupt you and say you've played a leadership role for some years in the BLA. You've played a leadership role also at the level of Saola. So leadership is not something foreign to you, am I right?
That's correct, Chief Justice.
All right, now just tell us as briefly as you can, how you see yourself fitting in the position or into the position of Deputy Judge President. How would you be of help to the division? How do you see yourself supporting the Judge President if you were to be appointed? As briefly as you can.
Thank you, Chief Justice. I am a visionary. And I know that the role of the Deputy Judge President is to support the JP. I will, from time to time, when issues arise that need to be given attention to, bring them to the attention of the JP and support the JP. But basically in the Free State, we're running a tight, the JP is running a tight ship. There are systems in place. Firstly, before, there are systems in place which I believe they are working. If there's any improvement to be made, I would then bring it to the attention of the JP, whom I know would discuss with the fellow judges, with my fellow judges, and do consultation before arriving to at a specific decision. That's what I'm offering the JP. And I will, as it is expected of a DJP, that in the absence of the JP, the DJP takes over the roles of the JP. I'm ready, and I understand that the roles of the JP would be to basically give leadership in that division. And
Yes, please carry on, round up your point.
And ensure that courts run smoothly, and as well coordinate the activities of both the High Court and the Magistrates Court. That's one thing that I will be able to do because of the experience that I've had, as well as the regional, when I was the Regional Operations Executive of Legal Aid South Africa.
Well, I've had I don't know whether to say the fortune or the misfortune of finding myself a leader of people much, much older than I am. I don't think it was good luck that I was able, or some luck that explains why I was able to navigate my way through that. It looks like, from what we have heard, you may, if appointed, find yourself in a similar position. Are you confident that you'll be able to navigate your way around whatever challenges might arise?
I'm confident, Chief Justice. As far back when I was appointed as the Justice Center Executive in Welkom, amongst my team members, one of the civil practitioners was in the same class as my uncle at University of Zululand in 1974. And I managed to lead that institution, and I produced results. Actually, I was my justice center was one of the best performing justice centers in Legal Aid South Africa nationally. And above that, I had a good relationship with Mr. Wachela and the other team members who are much older than myself, because of my interpersonal skills that I possess and my ability, my humility. And because I know that we learn from each other every day, and I'm an open-minded person. I will continue to learn from all those that are willing to help and be part of this ship as it sails. So I don't have a difficulty leading those that are far experienced than me.
And finally, you would agree that at the end of the day, it's not about age, it's about capacity. Otherwise, we wouldn't have the president of France leading the whole country at the age of 36 when he started.
Correct, so Chief Justice.
Yes. Honorable JP Musi.
Thank you, Chief Justice. Morning, Ceci.
Morning, JP.
You have acted for 3.5 terms.
3 times, JP, yeah. Yes.
And you are also the chair of the Library Committee.
Yes, JP.
And Sinazo is the librarian, correct?
Yes,
She works basically with you
correct,
with
so
regard to
JP.
library issues. Is it not so that SCA judgments, as soon as they are delivered, Sinazo sends it to all the judges?
Correct, so JP.
Then I note that you have you had at the time of completing your questionnaire, 4 reserved judgments.
Correct, so JP.
Are they now delivered?
They have long been delivered, JP.
And did you exceed the 3 months period with delivery of any of the 4 reserved judgments?
I think in 2 of them, I delivered them 3 months. The other one was 3 months and a week. I think the other one was 3 months and 2 weeks, because just a week after I submitted my application, I contracted COVID. And I was out of circulation for some time. I became very sick.
And there's just something else that I want to contextualize. We are generally a very young bench in the Free State.
Correct, sir, JP?
Although you only have 5 years and 4 months experience, there are how many other judges that are below you in terms of judicial experience?
If I have to, do I have to mention them by name as I
No,
count?
count them, it's fine.
It's Rangers J.
You're now mentioning them. No, it's fine.
8 judges, JP.
So out of a complement of 16 judges, and one of the senior judges has left. So we
Correct.
are basically out of 15 judges, 8 are your juniors.
Correct, sir, JP.
Thank you. Judge Mbhele, just one thing, seeing that I'm sitting next to your former boss here, how many people worked under you as the regional executive?
When I was in Limpopo, Mpumalanga, my team was 298. And when I went to Free State and Northwest, we were 385. But when I left, because there were new positions that were added, I think we came to about 402.
And you managed all those people?
Yes, I managed all the offices and the activities of both provinces, Free State and Northwest at the time.
You also had your own law firm?
Yes, I left Legal Aid South Africa and started my own law firm in partnership with the now Mhlambi J.
Thank you, Judge Mbhele. Thank you, CJ. I have no further questions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge President. Honorable MEC.
No, thank you very much, CJ. Good day, Judge Mbhele.
Good day, MEC.
Judge, I can see that you have been really been participating in various leadership roles, and that you have also been a volunteer in doing community work.
Correct, so
That you
JP.
are also participating in the structures that are representing women or gender equality and representation in terms of violence against women.
Correct, so MEC.
But no, there is still a concern about the cases where women and children, LGBTQI community, people with disabilities, when they have experienced vulnerabilities, you'll find that cases at times are taking too long for finalization. Cases are being postponed, and times people don't understand the reasons for postponing. What is it that, if you could be appointed as a deputy judge president, that you would, what strategies would you put to ensure that at least the cases are finalized in time, because we know that as long as they are drinking, they are also extending emotional, abuse on the victims. So what strategies will you have to ensure that you address that?
There's currently systems in place, particularly when it comes to the division itself, the High Court. There are systems in place to monitor the finalization of cases. I know that at the PEEC level, the statistics is being kept to check how far has each of the matters that serve in the district court progressed. So in that manner is to be in touch with the respective leaders of the magistracy to ensure that the systems are put in place to monitor finalization of such cases. But on top of that, I think it's time that a special focus must be given to cases that involve vulnerable sectors of our society, in the sense that the longer or those that do not have the same capacity as any other person, that in the sense that if those matters drag longer, the pain also persists. And that I think the best way is for the respective magistrates court to prioritize those matters, and if they, as and when they come up, to be given priority.
Thank you.
President Maya, as I write down, please do likewise, my sister. Let it be an ongoing joint responsibility. It's you, Honorable Malema. Am I mistaken?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Sir Chair, can you please put me on the list? I don't know, I missed the list. That's not
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Muiman, Chief Justice.
You are there, Honorable Muiman.
Sitting Chief Justice.
Makwanisha.
You are there, Honorable Magwanisha.
Tepe.
Lamola CJ.
Minister.
Minister,
right.
you got me there. Tepe.
I'm not the minister. It's a slip. You are just before the minister.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Maya CJ.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, colleagues. Honorable Malema.
Thank you very much, Judge. Are you a Christian?
Yes, Commissioner Malema.
How old was Jesus Christ when he was killed?
The Bible says he was 33.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thanks.
Honorable Muima.
Thank you, Chief Justice. Good morning, Judge Mbhele.
Good morning,
Commissioner Muima.
Commissioner Moimang.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What is your understanding of the independence of the judiciary? And do you think that the judiciary is doing enough to protect its independence, given attacks that has been raised against the judiciary? I suspect because you are from Free State, you are aware that members of the ANC in that province are not happy that on 2 occasions their provincial conference was set aside. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Moimang. My understanding of the independence of the judiciary is that the judiciary or the judges must make their decisions free from influence from other external forces. And that they must be given their space to operate and execute their functions without bias, favor, and prejudice. And that they shouldn't be contaminated by what is out there. I always say, when everybody else is confused, judges must remain sober. They have to give direction. When everybody else is running helter-skelter, it's judges who have to give fresh perspective. And what is the judiciary doing to protect their independence? I think at the moment, judges remain independent. Although there will be allegations and cries from people who are not happy about the decisions that are being taken, it's not that such decisions are influenced by external forces. Our role cannot be contaminated by the noise in the air. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Judge Mbhele. Thank you, Chief Justice.
President.
CJ.
We have a standing arrangement with the president that when I disappear, she emerges. Anyway, Commissioner Mbhele.
Thank you, CJ. Sorry, CJ, okay, you can't see that. That was just
No, can I give you an opportunity to finish?
No, I'm
and
done.
then
I'm
you can
done.
continue?
No, it was
Are
just-
you, have you swallowed?
I'm sorted. I'm sorted. That was just a delaying tactic. Thank you, CJ. Good morning or afternoon. It's afternoon now, Judge Mbhele.
Good afternoon, Commissioner Mbhele.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you, Commissioner Mbhele?
Thank you.
Thank
The
you.
But I won't ask you how are you because CJ will count that as a question. All right. Now, well, you've been here before, so I think we know more or less what to expect and have been covered in terms of your leadership capacity. I just wanted to ask you something about whether there's a challenge of facilities, for lack of a better word, in your court. Because I just remember that I appeared in your court when you were assigned to a case in Mthatha, because the judges there were conflicted for some reason. And I was shocked afterwards to learn from your registrar that you drove yourself there and back to the Free State. And I think at that stage you were already acting DJP. So I found that very strange because I don't think the DJPs in other provinces would drive themselves for such a long distance, apart from the fact that it's quite dangerous anyway. So is there an issue there, or was it just out of choice?
I don't think that I had a choice because even I don't know if DJPs are being driven. In fact, my JP is not even being driven. He drives himself. But I don't think it's a question of I think that benefit is specifically set aside for the JPs. So I actually drove myself to Mthatha, and I must say, after finishing the matter at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I had to drive myself back to Velkom, which, and that was, um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
strenuous. But
Okay.
I'm here, and this is the commitment that I've made. There was a time when I used to work in Polokwane. Driving has never been my problem. I used to drive between Polokwane and Velcom every Friday and go back on Monday morning, and I still performed my duties very well in
Yes.
that office.
Okay. Well, thanks. Maybe that's.
For what it is worth, Honorable Mpofu,
Yes.
DJPs don't have chauffeurs.
Yes, no, CJ, okay, well, anyway, let's not belabor that point. It was also quite a sensitive kind of case. So I also thought it was rather, it could have been dangerous for the judge who comes from outside. Anyway, for what it's worth, it had something to do with the kingship. So it was quite a contested terrain. But anyway, okay, maybe the question then is, if you had needed some security, or would you have been able to mobilize it? Because that I'm more worried about the facilities, the availability.
I think had I at that point needed securities, that would have been organized,
Arranged,
because in another matter that I was involved in at Kronstadt, there were security issues raised at some point, and there was an arrangement made that I be escorted every day for the 21 weeks that I was handling that matter.
Okay, good. Then I'm happy. All right. Then the next question is about this. Well, everything has been said about the leadership and the ageism that seems to be creeping in. But the issue is, if you've been, or since you have been acting DJP, have you ever had an experience of being undermined, either because of your age or your quote unquote juniority, by the people that you've been leading on an acting capacity?
Not at all, Commissioner Mpofu.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, CJ.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Mpofu. Honorable Magwanisha.
Thank you very much, CJ. Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon, Honorable Commissioner Bangwanishe.
Thank you very much. You come from an organization that has a history of excellence. In fact, it's one of the best in the justice family. 19 clean audits. It has been voted as an employer of choice for 11 years. So that is the legal aid South Africa. So what are the aspects that you will be taking from that organization to your new role?
Thank you, Honorable Manganishe. One thing that I could pride myself about legal aid is that there were systems there and there was monitoring. And what I am bringing to this position from my experiences at legal aid is sound administrative skills. In fact, excellent administrative skills, because with my stay there, I had maintained 100% audit in all my offices that were being audited at the time. And I'm bringing with me leadership skills, and I'm bringing with me the ability to set up, standard operating procedures and policies in place. I must say that at times when I was at the National Forum, I had to draft policies for the National Forum before I left and joined the bench. And I'm told that some of the policies that I drafted were inherited by the now Legal Practice Council. That's what I will be bringing with me to this position.
Thank you very much, CJ. Thank you very much, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Magwanisha. Honorable Singh.
Thank you very much, Chief Justice. Good afternoon, Judge Mbhele.
Good afternoon,
Peace.
Commissioner Singh.
Some peace.
Boni.
Chief
Mbhele,
Justice. Chief Justice, my question would have related to collegiality and acceptance on the bench when the judge acted as DJP, but my senior counsel, the learned Commissioner Mbhele, has elicited a suitable response for me, so I will pass. Thank you very much, and good luck, Judge Mbhele.
Thank you, Commissioner Singh.
Thank you, Honorable Singh. Commissioner Matolo Lepu.
Thank you, Chief Justice. Good day, Judge Mbhele.
Good day, Commissioner
I have to
Matolo
declare
Lepu.
that I've worked with Justice Mbhele for quite some time in gender issues at the Law Society of South Africa. So that's why I know her. But one of the things that you stole my thunder on is on saying that you actually drafted the policies for the National Forum and the Legal Practice Act. You did. That I can confirm. Yourself as Mr. Skogo. And we are still using those policies now. So at least you stole my thunder, then I'll keep quiet. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Matolo Lepu.
Wow. Commissioner Tsepe.
Thank you, Minister. Sorry, thank you, CJ.
Minister is very important.
Well, no, she's determined to demote me.
CJ, I am so sorry. I was just joking. Good day, Judge.
Good day, Commissioner Tepe.
I just wanted to just check with you on just one or two issues. One is in your time acting as DJP, are you aware or are there any challenges in your division relating to allocation of work to judges for their optimum exposure in all areas? And if so, are there systems or processes to deal with any of those challenges? And if you don't have those challenges, have you put in place a system to ensure that there is fair and equitable allocation of work?
There are no challenges. There are systems in place actually in the division to distribute the work evenly to all judges. There hasn't been any problem. In fact, for the time that I was tasked with the role, I've never experienced problems with any decisions that I had to make in terms of allocation.
Thank you. Just the last issue relates to also to check if there are any challenges relating to timeous delivery of judgments by judges and what are the systems in relation to that, if those challenges exist.
In our division, the JP has a spreadsheet that is color-coded, which is circulated every Monday. Either it will be Monday afternoon or Tuesday morning, that tracks all judgments. In fact, you will have on that spreadsheet a judgment that was delivered, that was reserved the previous day. So it tracks them in terms of days, not weeks, it's dates. You know, the more you see dates accumulating, the more scarier that document becomes. So the minute your judgment goes from yellow to your reserve judgment goes from yellow to red, the JP starts knocking at your door to explain yourself, why is your judgment turning red? So there are systems in place.
Thank you, CJ. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Tsepe. Honorable Minister.
Yeah, thank you very much, CJ and Judge Mbhele.
Thank you, Mr. Minister.
Yeah, you have spoken glowingly about your role at the Legal Aid South Africa. And I just want to take it further from your discussion with Honorable Magwanisha. The legal aid is not only one of the best performing, but it's also one of the best digitized institution in the entire family. The electronic legal aid management administration system. Were you involved in its development? And if so, did you use it even if you are not? And what do you think that will help you in the division in the Free State?
Okay. Legal aid went electronic. I think that was in 2004, if not 2003. I remember when they introduced ad infinitum, and we started doing everything electronically, be it from tracking the activities of practitioners. I would be sitting at regional office, and I would know where a practitioner in Garangua was on that specific day. And the following day, I would know which matter was handled by that practitioner at Garangua and what was the outcome of that matter. As far back as 2004, we had those systems in place. And with video conferencing, as far back as 2005, 2007, we could by that time, we could hold our meetings through video conference, using video conference facility. We're far much advanced than most institutions. And that skill, I have used that skill. I was forced to use that skill because there was no way I would have managed to run the whole 2 provinces at the time without those systems in place, because sitting in my office in Bloemfontein, I would be able to monitor what was happening around the country if I wasn't doing physical visits of the justice centers. And that system, I know that now because of COVID, courts have been forced to move towards handling matters electronically. We are using the electronic we are hearing the matter visually. Some matters we are hearing visually, some practitioners do come and we hear them in open court. I know that sometime at the beginning of this term, I handled a text matter with practitioners in the parties and practitioners sitting in Pretoria while I was sitting in Bloemfontein in my chambers. Actually, I didn't have to adjust. I was already into these things. I understand the system very well. Thank you,
So,
Minister.
With that experience, what do you think it will help you in case you are appointed for this position? Do you think that kind of experience will benefit the division in terms of digitizing and moving to more electronic platforms?
It definitely will. I know that there are times when JP Mlambo, who's the chairperson of the IT committee of the judiciary, would give us a report on the state of the IT infrastructure in this organization. And I would be the most vocal at those meetings to interrogate the JP and understand how far have we progressed in terms of migrating to electronic platform in a number of in a number of areas in terms of the work that we do. Either it be, I know that Gauteng has gone completely electronic in many ways. That hasn't hit the Free State that far, it hasn't come that strong in the Free State. But as if I get appointed to the position, I would then assist in making sure that what Gauteng has gets duplicated in the Free State.
Thank you very much, CJ.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Minister. Well, in the interim, maybe you must look at China and Malaysia so that you can contribute towards Justice Mlambo's development of the system on our behalf, because it's a full-blown modernization system there. President Maya.
Thank you.
Thank you, CJ. Good morning, Judge Mbhele.
Good morning, President.
One of your senior colleagues has already raised the issue of your age and limited stint on the bench and used words such as you being parachuted over other senior colleagues if you are appointed. So I think it's important to pay attention. Now, you know that leadership in the judiciary is not just about administration. Your judicial prowess is equally, if not more important. You have to lead from the front in the courtroom itself, sit in the most difficult, complex cases, and in appeals, you'll have to preside over senior colleagues and lead the way. Do you think, or do you have what it takes to, to do that? Will you be able to do that and not flounder?
I have what it takes, President. In fact, when I was acting DJP and I had to preside over appeals and reviews, I actually wrote most, if not all, of the judgments that I presided on, just to show that I can do this job and I am capable.
All right, thank you. Thank you, CJ.
Thank you, President. And as you assigned yourself those cases over which you presided, I take it that it wasn't just colleagues who were junior to you that you sat with. Some of them would have been there longer than you, am I right?
Correct. So, Chief Justice, I know that in one matter I sat with the now retired Jordan J. It was an environmental, the matter that relates to the National Environment Management Act. And I think the other one I sat with Jordan J and Naidu J. The other one I sat with Naidu J and Renders J. I cannot get them all out of my head, but yes.
And there was no problem?
There was no problem at all.
Thank you very much, Judge Mbhele. You are excused. You wanted it to be longer.
Thank you, Chief Justice.